Hi guys, hope everybody's having a great night. I'm just in town for the next couple days and doing some pet sitting for some friends. I have gone back to working for the cruise company I used to work for in Alaska, for those that knew about that before. And so fortunately, when I'm home, I get to do a little pet sitting, hanging out with 3 great dogs and a couple cats in this beautiful house. So as you watch videos and stuff like that, if you keep coming back and watching them, you'll notice that a lot of times my kitchens are going to change because I'm going to be kind of floating around, seeing, landing where I land for the next bit of time until I finally acquire that RV for me to live in. And then I start doing everything on a tiny basis. So the beauty of this is I'll be learning to adapt in different kitchens, using other people's equipment because I won't have my own. It's all in a nice little storage unit right in Boulder. So I'm getting ready to travel again on Saturday, and I like to take, for those that have saw the live video, I like to take these little breakfast cookie things with me that I make all the time. They're gluten-free, no sugar added, 5 ingredients, super easy. And I wanted to leave some for my friends who I've been pet sitting for. They're coming in from a red eye from Hawaii, poor things. And they're letting me use their great kitchen while I do this, so I thought it'd be nice to leave them some cookies so they wouldn't have to worry about food when they got home in the morning. I've got my oven preheated at 350. Now, mind you, I'm in at 5,400 feet, so you may have to adjust your temperature on your oven just a little bit. I believe it's a 25-degree difference for altitude. But with this particular recipe, it's not really going to matter that much. They're going to, because there is no flour and stuff like that added to it, it tends to not really be that. It's kind of a all by sight thing. So I don't think you have to worry about the temperature changing too much, but play with it a little bit if you feel like you need to. Like I said, I've done these before, but I did them as a live video and the video quality wasn't great. So I wanted to redo it because this is such an easy one and I do use it quite a bit. I've already got my bananas peeled. It starts with 4 medium bananas, about 8 inches. I guess that could be kind of considered a larger banana. But I've got my bananas in the bowl, and if you got a potato masher, great, use that. If you don't, you can use a fork. As you can see, I'm using a nice big paddle. Got my bananas in the bowl, right? So I'm going to mash these up. You don't need these to be too terribly, they don't have to be overripe. They're going to get really juicy as you mash them up, which is great. They kind of start all of a sudden producing like this liquid. And if you like your bananas a little bit chunkier in this, feel free to leave them a little chunky. It just depends on your mashing tools on how smooth they're going to get. I love bananas, so I don't let them get, I'm not too worried about it getting too terribly mashed up. I have to apologize. I got laryngitis about 2 weeks ago, and after a bit of a little illness I had while I was working, and it just will not completely go away. So every time I have laryngitis, I jokingly call it my sexy voice, sexy Lauren Bacall voice. I don't know where I got that. I don't know that she particularly has a raspy voice like this, but so that's I know. So forgive my weird voice situation going on here. So like I said, you don't want these bananas to be too, these bananas were completely yellow. You can go further. I try to keep these not quite as sweet just simply because I'm not a sweet breakfast person. And I tend to use these quite a bit for an after workout. They've got quite a bit of protein. The carbs are a little bit higher. I think it's around 43%, but if I'll leave you a link after the video in the notes and stuff like that that sends you to my blog that'll have the recipe, and that'll have all of the details on the nutritional numbers on it. If I remember correctly, it's like 280 calories roughly per cookie. I know that sounds like a lot, but these are going to be about 4 inches. It's going to look like a giant muffin top. The carbs in it are going to be about 42 grams, I believe. Protein is about 17 grams. I think I'm remembering all this correctly. and stuff, and then fat and stuff. I can't remember those numbers. Anyway, but don't worry about your carbs. Everybody's all freaking out about carbs all the time, and the fact of the matter is, your brain doesn't function on protein. Your brain functions on carbohydrates. You need 125 grams of carbohydrates a day to keep your brain healthy. If you're going super low protein, after a while you can start to get tired. Your brain thought process gets a little bit foggy. A lot of times that's because your protein's not high enough. And everybody's always worried about, well, I'm deficient in protein. The only way you're protein deficient is if you are skin and bones and you have a bloated belly. That's protein deficiency. There's not a single person out here that is deficient in protein, especially in the United States. So you never have to worry about that. Anyway, so I've got this nice and soft. So as you can see, it got nice and kind of soupy. There are some chunks of banana in there, but that's really yummy for me. I'm good with that. Then you're going to take 2 cups of rolled oats. They don't, not necessarily instant, just a nice rolled oat. I just get mine in bulk at whatever grocery store has bulk stuff. These I think are probably Trader Joe's because I'm fortunate to have one of those in Boulder. So 2 cups of rolled oats. We're doing 1/3 cup of sweetened dried cranberries. Now here's where you can get flexible on these cranberries. Now the numbers that I gave you, of course, are based on the cranberries being in here, but you can change this. You can add nuts. You can add, because these are plant-based. If you do chocolate, go vegan chocolate chips. Carob is fine. You can add all kinds of stuff. You can do dried fruits. You can do whatever you want to in this. It'll change your numbers a little bit, but not too much. Just don't go crazy on the dried fruit because that will start to pump your sugars up and not the good sugars. So those go in the bowl. Then I've got 4 tablespoons of raw shelled hemp seeds, or these are the hearts. As you can see, there's a little bit of green in there from the outside of the shell. Also, this is what's pumping up your protein content. So that goes in. And I use almond butter. I'm not a fan of peanut butter. I never have. I know that's like un-American, but I'm not a fan of peanut butter. So I use almond butter. I like the Maranatha because it's literally just roasted almonds. And that's it. I mean, there's nothing else in there. I keep mine at room temperature most of the time just because it makes it a little bit softer and easier to use. So that's going to go in the bowl. You can use peanut butter. It's just because I'm not a fan of peanut butter and it does dominate the flavor. I don't use it, but almond butter doesn't dominate the flavor, so you're not going to actually really taste that almond butter. And then cinnamon. So say just I'd say 1/3 of a teaspoon or a teaspoon. But this is really kind of to taste. It doesn't really matter how much you put in there. It's how much you like. So I'm just going to sprinkle it over the top. Maybe a little more because I do like it. And then I'm going to hold on to the spoon because I'm going to use that to portion mine out. But I'll use this big paddle to mix it up just because that's easier. Now I've already got my pan that I put this on greased with a little coconut oil. If you have a Teflon pan, that's fine. I'm just not a big fan of the Teflon pans. From Restaurant World, of course, I'm used to stainless, and as we use stainless, they will season and get, just don't put them in the dishwasher if you want to use it as a seasoned pan. Just rinse them off with some hot water. Let it soak a little bit if you need to because of something sticking. But they will get seasoned and you'll be able to, it'll be just like a Teflon pan. If you really don't want to use any oils to grease your pans, like I did, then just use ceramic. It's worth the investment. You're not getting any of the bad chemicals that go into making a pan Teflon. And if you get this all mixed up, because the measurements on the bananas are not hardcore, or set in stone, because I'm not doing it by the cup, it's just a bunch of bananas. You want this to be pretty wet. As you can see, it's pretty soft. Let's see if we can get that a little bit closer so you can see. And then I'm going to take this and portion this into 6 cookies. You can make these smaller. If I'm going to take them out on a hike or a bike ride and I just want something, if I'm doing a long ride, if I just want something that's going to be like one bite. I don't have to hold on to a cookie. I'll make them into smaller bite-sized pieces. That's probably going to get you a good 2 dozen of them if you do it that way. You can do them half or smaller if you want to do them for kids. They obviously don't need one as big as an adult might like. And then what I do with these is, like I'll save 2 for in the morning. I'm going to go down to Garden of the Gods tomorrow just to get in a nice last day hike before I have to be a responsible grown-up again and get ready for my trip. Because I'll be on the boat for about 6 weeks, so I want to try to get some hiking in before I go. So I'll take this with me, probably have one on the way down, maybe an apple or an orange with me in the morning for the trip. Of course, a cup of coffee because, you know, it's going to be about 6 in the morning when I leave the house. And then I'll just take one hiking with me. And then give me a nice little boost for later in the day. So as you can see, I've divided these up into 6 different cookies. They're about 4 inches each. So you've got, I'd say a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch thick. These are not going to spread. So you can put them, you'll see in the sheet pan that I'm going to pull out in the batch that I already did, they're right close together. So they're not going to spread or go anywhere. And then what I do is, like I said, I'll keep a couple of them. I'll put them in the fridge tonight and let them rest. And they'll be nice and cold. But I'll just pop one in the toaster. So if you've got one of those like bagel-sized toasters, they do great just toasting in the oven. Just put it on about medium if you want to do a little bit more. And then they come out perfect. So these are going to go in the oven. Just like that. So as you can see, they're nice and big. That looks a little big compared to the size of my head because I'm closer to the screen. But like I said, that's about a 3/4 to, in some cases, almost an inch thick and about 4 inches wide. So nice big full breakfast. That's going to go in my oven. And then I'm going to leave those in there for 15 to 20 minutes or so until they get to be a nice golden brown. I'm not trying to get them, just kind of do it by sight. It should cover you. And then there's my finished cookie. Nice and lovely. I wish we had, as they joke, smell-o-vision because they smell awesome. I'll let these sit a little bit before I move them around and have a couple for breakfast in the morning. So enjoy. The recipe will be on my blog, which is gypsyplantsandleaves.com. I'll have the link in the description below, and then the recipe will be on that page as well. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of the videos in the future, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you'll get notifications each time I put up some new videos. I'm going to try to get some done while I'm on the boat, but we don't have a lot of signal. I'm pretty much in the wilderness up there in Alaska, and the scenery is great, but video loading is not the easiest, so hopefully I'll be able to get some videos done while I'm up there. If not, I will see you again in 6 weeks, but check out the Facebook page, Gypsy Plants and Leaves. There is a comma after Gypsy, and gypsyplantsandleaves.com. Thank you very much. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.